Okay, what I want to show you here with this particular chart pattern is something which is typical with momentum indicators. It happens a fair bit. And let me explain. We've got a movement down from the earlier charts that we'd been looking at, and we can see that, and nothing extraordinary there, nothing of surprise there. You see it moving lower. You see the MACD moving lower as well. Now, what I typically find is, as with the MACD, and it might be with virtually any default value, any standard value that you get with the MACD, the one I've chosen here is 12, 26, and 9, which is a typical one. But very often, depending of course on which values are in there as to when this point will occur, but very often what occurs is as the blue line is about to hit the red signal line, like here it touches, you often get at that point the price seeming to be undecided. It seems as if the blue might bounce off it, the price turn upwards. You often get the stochastic about to turn upwards as well, as is the case here, or at least looking as if it's going to. And that's a point at which you get a great degree of indecision. You're thinking, well, might it just bounce up? And often it does, and that can be some of the strongest signals. But I wanted to draw that to your attention because sometimes that is a point of great weakness in a trend. Now, why would I want to draw this? Well, a couple of things. First of all, when the price does actually turn around, and let's say it, instead of going upwards, actually goes lower and lower, and this blue line breaks the red line, then you know you're into safer territory and you've got a profitable trade. Equally, you might say to me, well, hang on, why don't I just wait until I find these types of positions and only get in if the blue line crosses the red? Well, the danger with that is we might be getting in a bit too late. Imagine if our entry point had been in a little bit higher here, as opposed to being low down here, which is what we'd be looking at. So we might be getting in a bit too late on our trades, and that's the reason why we have to wait. Equally, 30% of the time, or slightly less probably, the price will have turned around and we'll have a small loss, we'll get out. Now this leads into a broader issue about trend following and about momentum indicators. Essentially, what often happens with momentum indicators is we get in, 7 times out of 10 we're going to be right, we're going to follow through, and we're going to get onto the back of a short-term trend. 3 times out of 10, we're going to think we're about to get in, we do get in, it moves a little bit and then reverses, so we make a small loss. What's critical is to make sure those losses are small by tight stop losses. And this is why, in looking at these indicators in this relatively advanced level, I wanted to show this point. That is a point at which we're in, and it might be about to turn around, in which case we've got to get out quickly, so we might have a stop loss, say, around this level, or it does penetrate through and make a profitable trade. My point being, we couldn't get in any later than this, and we had to get in earlier if we were going to get in at all. So that's the point I want to make there. There's another interesting observation I want to draw to you, and that is with the MACD, and that is this. Look at this. Do you see that pattern here? MACD goes up, comes across, goes sideways, looks as if it might have wobbled out of a trend, an incipient upward trend, and that it might be just about to turn and go lower. But in actual fact, it's as if it's bouncing off the signal line and moves up. But what does that mean in price terms? In price terms, it means that the sellers have come in, they've been selling, selling, selling. They've risen a little bit with the buyers coming in. The sellers have come down, and now's the decision point around here. This is where the sellers are deciding, have we got enough muscle and determination and money to resume this downward trend? And so you'd see the MACD going from this sideways inflection to lower and back down. We've seen that happen very often. You know, you get into a trend, you get into a price, and all of a sudden it turns and then falls lower. Or have the buyers got more muscle and this price trend has already started, and what we're seeing here is, okay, some weakness, the buyers got in a bit early, they got forced back, but now they're going to make their bigger move. Now, Elliott wavers call this wave number 1, and then this, the more powerful, second one. you can look at it whichever way you want. Other chart pattern holders will call it a cup and handle. You've got the cup, the handle, which is, this is the cup, this bit here. The handle, which is just this slight sell-off before you start getting a move upwards. You can explain it in trading psychology terms. The sellers have come in, the buyers have tried to make a first foray, they've been forced back. Now's a decision point and they get in. Similarly with this, you've got the cup, then you get the handle, and then you get the move upwards. This is an inflection point, it's a decision point. So when you get this kind of chart pattern around here, where you've got a move upwards, then moving down off momentum, the next bit of momentum usually comes here as this blue recoils away, starts moving upwards, as this overall pattern has occurred, and the price then starts giving you some buys, and you start getting in. That's why I wanted to show that one. The flip side of that is, and this is probably not a good example to give you, but is the exact opposite. What happens is, instead of an upward move, we get a downward one. It looks as if the market might start going upwards, but in fact, it just starts moving lower. I'll show specific examples of those rather than speaking abstractly about it. But for now, I just wanted to show this point here, where we do get that indecision, and we're looking for the blue line to cross the red, and the momentum continue downwards despite this slight move upwards. And I wanted to show this type of move here, where momentum resumes after a slight detour over there, and it's this move which is obviously far meatier than this initial one.